So the other set of videos left you with a generic body like this. We're going to go ahead and focus on isolating the head. Now, again, we're just sort of rifting here. We're making a cool little character. So hold Control and highlight the head here. Go to Subtool. And what we want to do is split it to parts, but the part we want is the masked points. So that's the head itself here. All right, with that selected, just going to zoom in here for a minute. And one thing I go back and forth about is you see this gradient in the background. So I'm going to go to Document here, and I'm just going to go to where it says Range, and that just kind of gets rid of that border, that gray area. If you go back to Document here, you can see there's a bunch of other options too. Let's see, we're back in Document. Yeah, where the range is, center, border, all that good stuff. So for now, I'm pretty fine with these settings. Let's go ahead and just divide this a bunch. I'm going to go ahead and I hit Control D a couple times. And what we're doing is sort of emulating what the sockets of a skull will look like. So I'm going to hold Alt here, and I'm just going to push in with my Move tool. And as a refresher, if you forgot where to get your Move tool, you just hit B and then M as in Move and T. And that kind of pushes in those eye sockets here. Alright, what we're going to do next is pull these out like that. And then we want to add a sphere inside of the center of the eye here. So I'm going to go down into here and I'm going to click on Append. This is in my subtool, Sphere 3D. And I actually updated to the newest form of ZBrush, so I'm going to hit W here. I'm going to scale this way down just by clicking in the middle and just sort of position it out here. And as I zoom in here, I'm going to scale that down. I'm going to move it right into the side of the eye there and then pull it forward. And that's going to serve as my eyeball. So something like this, like that. And what I like to do is kind of look up here and I uncheck the body's visibility and just focus on the head here. See, I got these two. And that way I can uncheck this and see how big it is. You can see that this eyeball is stretching way past the center of the head. So one way of doing this is you want to make sure that you center the eye where it needs to go in the head, and then you scale it down. So something like this. So that looks really good. So something like that. I'm going to go ahead and hit Q, and then I'm going to go up to Z plugin, and I'm just going to go ahead and do Subtool Master, and I'm going to hit Mirror, and then the default settings are fine. I'm going to hit OK. Now I'm going to hit X, and I'm on the eyeball layer here. You can see that. And then I'm going to go up to Geometry, and I'm going to click Z Remesh here. And on a level of 1, oops, sorry, let's hit 1 here. I'm just going to click Z Remesh again. And you can see if you hit it a couple times, they'll eventually average the geo. But that's okay, because right now I just need that as a placeholder. And I'm going to go in here and just sort of pull the entire cheekbone area just a little bit higher around that. Oops, well, I kind of clicked it on by accident, but eventually we'll face out, we'll probably shape the nose in the next video. So something like this, right? Just pulling this out like that. So just we're filling in that eye socket area. And again, this is to create a generic character, and that generic character is going to feed pretty much it's a process. So any type of character you want to create later. So I'm going to go ahead and select this, and I'm going to duplicate this 2 more times. And on the top eye here, I'm going to rename it upper eyelid, and then eyes. So I'm going to rename this eyes, and then lower eyelid. Okay. Now with the upper eyelid selected, I'm going to hold Control and Shift down and see where it says Select Rectangle up here. I'm going to click on that, and I'm just going to select my Trim Rectangle. What this will do is this will slice. Here, let's go ahead and isolate this so you can see what I'm talking about. It'll slice these in half and create a nice flat area at the bottom that we can use to form our eyelid. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and unhide the eyes. You can see it takes up that area. And then unhide the lower lids. And I'm going to select the lower lids, and I'm going to hold Control and Shift and just cut roughly somewhere that matches the other one. So in order for this to update, I'm going to click on that middle area. Alright, let's unhide the head. And what I'm going to do in here is with my upper eyelid selected, that's these guys right here. Let's go ahead and make sure these other ones are on as well. And I have my Move Topological Brush selected. I'm just going to do a combination of just clicking without holding up and moving up an eyelid, sort of shaping this kind of Kermit the Frog eye. And then what I want to do is pull that out a little bit to exaggerate the eyelid. And the way I'm doing that is by holding Alt and then left clicking. I actually don't have my tablet with me, so you can just probably click with your pen. But I'm using left click just sort of as the example. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Just kind of pulling out that. Oh, you know what I did? I think I did the exact same thing twice. Kind of screwed up my lower eyelid. So not a big deal. I'm going to delete that. And then on this lower eyelid here, I'm going to duplicate it. Sorry, long nights. Hold Control Shift, and I'm going to cut the top, and that's going to form my lower eyelid. So let's unhide this. And now where it says I1, I'm just going to bring these out, and then pull it down and shape that lower eyelid like that. Pretty good. Looks good. Again, it's okay that it's exaggerated. This whole piece is going to be exaggerated because we want to do this as a process piece. It's just a piece to learn. Kind of like if you were oil painting and you just want to learn to oil paint. You just make a bunch of complete pieces to learn the process. All right, I'm going to end that here, and then next video we'll tackle the nose.